I wanted to take a look at exactly what Chuck Todd did in that interview with Trump's lawyer. For a change, he really confronted him and forced him not to change or move the goalposts. And in the process of doing that, he showed the sham that Donald Trump is with respect to the hidden documents that he held on to, that he lied to. They tried to compare it with Nixon, Clinton, Obama, etc., but it all failed because for a change, we had journalism that worked.
Mr. Trusty, welcome to the press.
Morning.
Thank you for giving me a few minutes. I want to start with that Washington Post report this week. Let me read an excerpt from it. That they believe the special counsel is looking at obstruction of justice as a crime in this situation. Investigators now suspect, based on witness statements, security camera footage, and other documentary evidence, that boxes including classified material were removed from a Mar-a-Lago storage area after the subpoena was served, and that Trump personally examined at least some of those boxes. What's your client's response to this assertion?
Yeah, well, that it's nonsense. I mean, look, there's been a campaign of leaks from DOJ, unlike anything I've ever seen. I was a prosecutor for 27 years. I spent 17 at this Department of Justice. I don't recognize it anymore.
Former president himself, though, basically admitted to the crime. This is what he said to Sean Hannity. Well, does he have a right to these classified documents? Presidential Record Act is clear. There's no vagary here.
No, well, you're right, but I think you're misinterpreting the Presidential Records Act. You notice he didn't say, I did this, I possessed it. He said, I would have the right. He's correct. Ex-presidents work with NARA, work with them for years, figure out what stuff they get. It took 18 years, I think, for Nixon's tapes to finally get to NARA. In this case, NARA was hypersensitive, immediately trying to pounce on President Trump to say he's holding on to things he's not entitled to. But the remedy for all of that, if you have that fight between the archivist and the former president, is civil litigation.
Okay.
And they jumped right past that with a very happy and willing DOJ.
Well, you say that, but they actually spent over 18 months before asking for a subpoena. He signed, he had a lawyer sign that he had returned all classified documents. So the problem is he actively misled NARA, so it forced a situation where they didn't know where else to turn other than the law. I mean, he himself lied via a lawyer, which has gotten that lawyer in trouble over years.
Well, you're putting together a whole bunch of hoops that don't actually connect. Look, NARA had 15 boxes given to them in January of 2022. 15 boxes, just here it is, take it, use these for archive.
None of it belongs to him. He has this mistaken a feeling that none of it belongs to him. It belongs to the presidency.
Read the Personal Records Act, the Presidential Records Act. There is the ability of any president to deem things as personal, to say, I'm going to keep these as personal.
Sure.
If NARA disagrees, they can sue in D.C. That's not what happened.
I understand that, but he seems to, and you seem to be, I think, maybe unintentionally misrepresenting the law when you talk about Nixon. The law was passed after Nixon. Nixon had a case because the law wasn't in place. The law was effective with the Reagan presidency in 1981. Does Donald Trump think he should get paid? Is that what's going on here? Because Nixon got paid $18 million. Is he just holding these documents for some sort of financial settlement?
No, that's a cheap shot. Look,
he keeps bringing up this Nixon thing. What other reason is he bringing it up? He has done with classified documents what no former president has ever done. I mean, you keep trying to say all of those situations you represent, there was actual cooperation by those former presidents to deal with the dispute. In this case, not only is he not cooperating, he is actively not cooperating. And again, he did not comply with a subpoena. That's the end of the day. That's the obstruction charge. Why didn't he comply with the subpoena? There was a subpoena for all classified documents. He did not comply with the subpoena. He was caught not complying with the subpoena because of the search warrant ended up turning up more classified documents. How do you explain him defying a subpoena?
Chuck, the Democratic narrative, which you're touting right now to try to draw a distinction.
It's just a set of facts.
Well, let me finish.
Why call it a Democratic narrative? It's a set of facts.
Because let's talk about Delaware. You've got a vice president that has documents for decades in this Chinese-funded Penn Biden Center, right? You've got absolute obstruction there because we don't even have any sort of...
How's that obstruction?
Because he had no right to have those documents.
Right. And
he didn't have any.
And did he refuse to turn them over when he found them?
Well, I don't know. It was hidden for so many months.
Again, did he turn them over?
Did his lawyers turn that over without any sense of chain of custody or any sorts of
Has the former president turned this over?
Well, we don't
subpoena?
have the leaks coming from Rob Hur's investigation to know the details of exactly how stuff.
So is your defense that hey, we think other people broke the law, so let us break the law?
No, of course not. Of course not.
I mean, I just think that doesn't seem to be a good defense.
Chuck,
I want you guys to take a look at this exactly again. Repeat that video, and you'll see exactly what these guys should have been doing for decades when these charlatanes come to try to protect a president that should really already have been locked up in jail. And this is not hyperbole here. This guy's a career criminal. This guy's a thug. This guy's much more than your common criminal. He belongs not in jail, but in the penitentiary.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.